The Little Things is written and directed by John Lee Hancock. It's about two cops that investigate several murders around Los Angeles until they hone in on a suspect that gives them very eerie vibes of a serial killer. John Lee Hancock is best known for his works like The Blind Side and Saving Mr. Banks and The Founder. A great movie, by the way, just to name a few. The film stars an Oscar-winning trio with Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. Could this be the next best thing since The Irishman? We shall see. Joe Deacon, played by Denzel Washington, is a former detective who now works as a patrolman. He's also grieved with some hauntings from his past, but that's more on the spoiler side of things. So I'm gonna leave that out. And I think Denzel actually played him quite well. He has like this subtle approach that he takes with the character. He's very quiet. There's times when watching him, he feels like a ticking time bomb, almost ready to explode, and all you can do is just, wonder what he's thinking. It definitely helps keep you engaged with the film. I really liked his very, very natural approach to the character. It's almost like, I met someone like Deke before, at some point in my life. So, God, it just shows that Denzel is just such a class act at bringing characters to life. His character also has like this very, he has this skill for small detail when it comes to investigating, which also brought like some intrigue to the film as well. Now, in the film, he's ordered to retrieve some evidence from the evidence room from a murder that just happened, and from there we meet Detective Jimmy Baxter, played by Rami Malek. Now, his character is sort of described as like this straight shooter and this college boy kind of guy, and I thought he did a pretty good job. Doing his thing with it. Him and Deke start to butt heads at first, but then like as time goes on, they start to kind of develop some sort of partnership between the two. And gotta be honest, at first I wasn't really digging, the casting choice for Rami as the cop. Now, like, this is not a bash towards Rami Malek. I think he's a fantastic actor. I thought he was phenomenal in Bohemian Rhapsody. Well deserved Oscar. I also heard that he was pretty good in Mr. Robot as well. I never caught that show, but I heard a lot of praises from him in that show. And I'm very much looking forward to the next Bond film that's coming out. I think he could be, from what I'm seeing from the trailers, he looks like he might be the best Bond villain we've ever had. But that being said, I couldn't come to buy him as a cop, like this well-to-do cop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, he looks good with shades on. I can say that, but I don't know. It just wasn't doing it for me. Not all the way there, but I think he did justice. I mean, he was fine. Rami was fine. Mildly miscast, I would say. But where he shines actually, a lot more in the film is his interactions with Deke's character. I think they, regardless of how I feel about his character, I think they work pretty well together on screen. It felt like I was watching some sort of experimental screen test between the two. I like the dialogue in some scenes here and there, and it worked for me. For the most part, nothing too glamorous, like nothing like I don't really have favorite scenes between the two, but I think they work well together. And I'm just being honest. But I think that it would have been just a lot more better had they just recast Rami. I love Rami, but maybe just another actor would have probably filled that role in a little bit cleaner. Somebody like Chris Pine or something. He's worked with Denzel before, like in Unstoppable, and they seem to have pretty good chemistry in that movie. And Chris Pine looks more like that well-to-do cop, straight shooter person. You know what I'm saying? Halfway through the film, we finally meet Albert, played by Jared Leto. He's like this creepy, bizarre looking individual. Like his eyes are like kind of shrunken, and he doesn't blink. It's also a familiar role too that we've all seen Jared Leto play. I mean, he does it well. He plays it well. It's not Joker. It's not some Joker type role or nothing. But he does. He does it. That's what Jared does. So it's like, give it to him. And he seems very facetious as well. Like you can tell that he sort of relishes in being this prime suspect, almost like the Joker, but nowhere near like the Joker. But I felt his character was a bit, as the film would say, inconclusive. if that makes sense. I don't know. I didn't know what to do or feel about him all the way, other than the fact that I just don't trust the guy. And I think Leto for the most part did a good job with him. It's familiar territory, so it's not like he's doing something out of the box new here. I think he was fine with it, but there was something about his character that left me very, very unresolved. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really get any sort of payoff or satisfaction with his character. I mean, I didn't feel he did anything of importance either. But I think that's mostly due to the film's ending, which gets me to my point and possibly biggest problem of the movie. For one, it's a slow burn. Now, in the opening scene of the movie, there's this great suspense scene, but 20, I want to say maybe 10-20 minutes after the film, there's like nothing happening. The exposition is just too casual for its own good, to the point where it's just so boring to see these guys converse. It's like watching real human beings, like real people at work. And it's just very dull dialogue. Like, it's just so dull. And the crime scenes, they're just not exciting at all. They're just not. There's barely any blood. Like this Law and Order light type scene that they have, but even with Law and Order, they had like more exciting and glorious scenes for a network TV show, and for a movie, it's like, I don't know if they were playing it safe with it or something, but it was just nothing. It was nothing inspiring, nothing shocking happening in those crime scenes. It was just like, oh, okay. You maybe see like maybe one or two bodies in the entire thing. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just expecting more gore, but. And also the editing had like some problems too. There was there's like some quick cuts that are scattered about like all over the film, and even some of the transitions that are happening in the film, they feel a little bit abrupt at times. Even in the dialogue, there were times where characters would be speaking, and all of their words would just be meshed together as if they were like reading like the script was reading itself or something. It didn't feel natural at all. It felt a little awkward. It was almost as if the film knew that everything that was happening was like all of the boring shit, and like it wanted to like rush to get to the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like the film, like that's how I felt the film was doing, but it was just honestly taking me out of it. I was just like, why is everything so snappy? And things don't need to be snappy like this. You know what I mean? It was very noticeable. And also, too, the pacing was just kind of non-existent. Like, I honestly can't remember the last time I sat in a movie where, the pacing felt kind of not there. Another thing is that the investigation felt so underwhelming. Like, so just, ugh. I mean, they're making phone calls and looking for clues, and I was just tapped out all the way through. I was so bored. There wasn't really anything for me to care about these murders either. Normally, for films like these, something happens where it heightens the stakes for the main characters, so that way it makes solving the crime all the more urgent. At some points, it gets even personal for the main characters too, so that way you're even on the edge of your seat, just kind of hoping that the killer gets caught. And there was nothing. There was none of that. Nada. Just Deke tailing a car, and then, Deke and Jimmy tailing a car, and then Deke tailing Jimmy and Albert's car. There's a scene where Deke and Jimmy are staking out an alleged suspect's house, and Jimmy's like just falling asleep because they've been kind of at this thing all day. And I remember thinking, yeah, I know exactly how you feel, bud. Yeah, I was just exhausted and bored to tears with this shit. I think it's good on the studio for at least trying to hire 3 Oscar-winning actors to, lead this film, so that way they can at least maybe trick people into seeing this film. It's just a shame that this film was so hollow and boring. There's some flashbacks that show Deke's past life, and I honestly thought those were the most interesting out of the whole film. I feel like had they just took those flashbacks and made that into the whole movie, it would have probably been a much better film. Now, how the film ends is, in my opinion, just another way for the film to trick you into thinking that the film is more clever and more profound than it actually is. And I wasn't buying it. Like, it didn't move me at all. If anything, I was frustrated. I feel like the film tried to be this big, this deep thinking piece about obsession and past mistakes and yada yada yada. But all I got was boring crime scenes, barely any blood, and boring characters talking about nothing but just boring ass things. I felt no closure, no payoff, or any kind of resolution whatsoever. And honestly, it's annoying. It's fucking annoying. There's also a moment with Deke and Jimmy where Deke says something about how it's the little things that, you know, break us and you know, can get you caught or something strange like that. And I thought that was going to actually lead into something like a great reveal or some plot twist or something, or maybe some foreshadowing that leads up to, you know, something that really gives this film some flavor. But it only just foreshadows something that, frankly, in my opinion, is just uninspiring and just unsatisfactory. Oh, did I mention too? Boring. Something as simple as like a cop hunts killer movie with like some, you know, maybe some Seven types vibes, you know, and maybe a compelling villain that kind of shows like the ugly sides of humanity or something like that. Just something juicy was all I was asking for. And instead I get like this 2-hour documentary about cops going to work. So I'm gonna give The Little Things 4.5 out of 10. Script definitely needed some work on this one. And I felt like it was just trying to be too smart for its own good. Like way too smart. Which could have worked had it been written better. I mean, you got 3 all-stars in one film. Like, how do you fuck that up?
How do you fuck that up?
So that's my review on The Little Things. If you love this video, subscribe, man. And if you like this video, hit the like button. You know, get me in the algorithm. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.